engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. I'm Isaac Hernandez, and I'm here with my co-host, Holly McClure. Holly, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Isaac. I love the month of July. So, some people will be watching this later and it won't be. For me, the patriotic spirit is beginning this month. And for the next year, we're celebrating America's 250th anniversary. So every month's going to be patriotic to me, I think, for the next year. But we've got some incredible movies for the 4th of July and the month of July to talk about, the patriotism. Ferdinand Studios just had Independence Day Experience. Want to give you a little preview of what that was about. It was fun. And then we're going to talk about some movies that are in theaters right now, particularly F1, which we both saw and loved. So got a lot of movie info to talk about. So stay tuned for that and take some notes.
All right. But first, before we get to that fun, exciting stuff, I did an interview recently with Greg Robbins, who's an American stunt performer. He's a writer, director, actor. He's acted in 32 films, directed 24 films, and he's performed stunts in movies like Terminator, which is, of course, a long time ago. But a more recent one was Cabrini. He performed some stunts on the movie Cabrini. So, he's got a lot going on. Now, what I know him for is because he did a series, a sitcom that was billed as the first Christian sitcom called Pastor Gray. And I love the tagline, which is, I believe, proof that God has a sense of humor.
Yes.
However, now he's partnered with Jennifer Yadav, who's a producer, and they're producing PSAs dealing with PTSD. So I'm interested in finding out how he's gone from comedy and silliness to something as extremely serious as PTSD. So don't go away, folks, because this is a great interview. Check it out.
Yes.
Welcome, Greg and Jennifer. It's so wonderful to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Isaac.
Now, Greg, I don't know Jennifer. This is the first time I'm meeting her, but I have known you for, oh my gosh, I think like 25 years maybe. And I've known you as a director. I mean, I think you've directed like 24 or so different projects, films and TV shows and whatever. And I've known you as an actor, also been in about 32 different projects, whether it be films or television shows or, various media projects. And of course, I've also known you as a stuntman, and you've performed stunts also in like 25. You've been busy, man, in like 25 different things, including, by the way, a movie that we recently promoted quite heavily, which is Cabrini. I don't know what you did on that. Did you fall off a roof or something? I don't know. All I know is that that's kind of everything that I've known you to do. But you are now starting something new. You're doing something I would think completely different than what you've been doing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. And in Cabrini, I was a stunt man. I played a police officer, and I actually arrested Francesca Cabrini.
Oh,
one of my favorite films that I've ever been in. The director was probably one of the best directors I've ever worked with ever in my entire life.
It was a great movie.
Yes, it was. 10 years ago or so, I made a movie, wrote and directed a movie called True Calling. It actually says it was written by Catherine Naomi Wilson. That's the name I write under, which was my grandmother's name. And she's gone to be with the Lord, so I don't think she's going to mind that I steal her name. And I cast the lead's next door neighbor. I cast Jennifer Yadav and in the movie. And I've always been a fan of hers. And a few years back, I wrote a screenplay on human trafficking, which is very unusual for me to write something that deep. And as I was writing, I kept seeing Jennifer in it as the lead. And out of nowhere, I mean, when I say, Isaac, you've known this to happen to both of us, that God pulls weird things with this. Out of nowhere, she reached out to me, just out of nowhere. And I said, it's so weird. I've been thinking about you, and I told her about the script. I sent it to her. She liked it. And she started down this journey with me. And then I mentioned that I think we should form a nonprofit organization. When you look at my body of work outside of stunts, everything I've ever done serves a purpose, whether it be fighting for your faith, opioid addiction, combat injured troops, uh, uh, autism. It just all falls under something that we're. I want to. I want to be like Warren Buffett and give proceeds to these causes. Like I say Warren Buffett because he gave away 99% of his fortune, and that has always been like a dream of mine, is to tell stories that build up humanity and encourage one another and build each other up, and then give the money to whatever cause it is about. And in addition to being a fabulous actor, Jennifer was on board with this, and she has that same heart for service. So the two of us formed Rescue Vision Films.
Oh, wow. So Jennifer, what made you reach out to Greg?
You know, it's really funny. I was thinking about Greg, and I had just come from an audition, and I had some new materials to share. I was in an episode of FBI a couple of years ago, so I reached out to Greg just to let him know what I've been up to and that I was available to work as a local actor in Buffalo. I'm a Buffalo native. I was born and raised in Buffalo. My grandma owned a bar there. I went to school there all of my life, so Buffalo is always will always really be home to me. And so my family's still there, and I can work as a local in Buffalo. So that's really why I reached out to Greg when he shared the script with me. I absolutely loved it. I'm tearing up even just thinking about it. It's a really powerful script, and I said I need to do this part. This is this is me, and I want to tell this story. And it kind of naturally evolved. I came on as a producer, and it kind of naturally evolved into the development of this nonprofit. And our mission really is twofold. So Greg mentioned that we are going to be donating some money to organizations that support the causes behind these stories. We really want to shine a light on some untold stories and bring awareness to some issues that really aren't talked about very much. So mental health is one thing that we're tackling with our first PSA that was released. The film that he mentioned is about human trafficking. And so we do want to raise money for organizations that are helping to support those causes. But the second part of our mission, and something that's really near and dear to me, is, we really want to help uplift the Buffalo community. So there is an incredible film scene happening in Buffalo right now, and the industry in Buffalo is really, really growing. So we want to help provide a pathway for the entire community to be a part of that and to benefit from this industry that's developing.
Wow. So, by the way, this is really kind of close to my heart because I have probably two, maybe three of my grandkids that were born. Hard for me to say under the spectrum because I think of kids that are really deep in they're very, very just barely in there. Most of their issues are more like social skills. One of my grandsons doesn't like to hang around a lot of people and that type of a thing. But my first one, of course, was born autistic, and my daughter just got really deep into helping him. So, learning a lot about it and doing whatever needed to be done. And he's fine. You wouldn't know it if you met him. You wouldn't say, "Oh, you're on the spectrum." We only know because of things like when there's a lot of people, he'd rather just kind of go move away somewhere else. But so what you're doing is definitely close to my heart. So Greg, it looks like before you were doing movies and TV shows as a form of entertainment. Now you're doing it with a very specific purpose in mind. That's very commendable, my friend.
Well, the sitcom Pastor Greg, I believe, even though it was comedy, it served a purpose. And and then when we did See Me Dance, it was the same thing. We were shedding the light on cancer, but at the same time, which, by the way, we did give proceeds to the Cancer Society. But at the same time, again, all this stuff gets just put in my head, and I read it, was surrendering your life to Christ. And good or bad, whether you liked it or not, that's what that movie was doing. And again, I've always wanted to entertain people, but When you look at Superheroes Don't Need Capes, that was a true story about a boy that was battled autism, and in real life he battled bullies through love and his neighborhood bullies.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'll add to that as well. I think that Greg kind of mentioned that I also believe in service, and I think I grew up in Buffalo. Like I said, I went to Catholic school for 8 years. It's sad to say that both of the schools I went to no longer exist. But I did graduate from Catholic high school in Buffalo and at Holy Angels Academy, and I was always taught that our talents are a gift that we should share with others in service of others. And so this whole mission is also very near to my heart in terms of that. I want the stories that we felt to be meaningful and to lift people up and to have a purpose.
That's wonderful. Well, how can people learn more about this? You guys have a website?
We do.
How do they find out?
We have a website, rescuevisionfilms.org. We also have a YouTube channel. So really the best way to help us right now would be to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Rescue Vision Films. Share the PSA that we've made. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, that would be the best way to find us.
Fantastic. Now, Greg, where can people still see some of your past movies or even Pastor Greg? Is it available anywhere?
It's weird. Pastor Greg is still being aired in places because every now and again, I would say 8, 9, 10 times a year, I'll get a fan letter that, or it'll be on an email, and I'll say, "How did you find out about it?" Well, I just saw it on TV. So I don't know if TBN is still airing it because they have rights to it when they purchased it through you. When I licensed it through you, when you were still there, I gave it to you worldwide perpetuity. So I think it's still out there. And then like See Me Dance and Superheroes Don't Need Capes and True Calling, they're all on Amazon and also through Bridgestone Multimedia.
Oh, okay, good.
You can see those. And the other series I did, Diary of a Lunatic, which was supposedly a spinoff of True Calling. And then we read, as you know, we did a Christmas reboot of Pastor Greg. That did so well, and we used my son as playing Pastor Greg. I was floored of the reception of that, of how much people really enjoy that. And every year it airs, and every year people comment of how much they enjoyed it.
Wow. I actually had a little tiny bit part on that, didn't I? I'm surprised. I'm surprised you kept it in because I was horrible.
No, it was one of my favorite lines in the whole movie when the lady says, "I really thought he was going to mess up the sermon." And she said, "We all did." When you said that, I really thought he was going to blow it. That's in the trailer. I put that in the trailer because it's so funny, Isaac.
Oh my!
Say you did so good.
Oh wow, I was terrible. I'm such an overactor. It's ridiculous. Well, I have an idea for you, by the way, Greg. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel just for Pastor Greg, but you might consider it and putting all the episodes there. That way you can just tell people, look, even if you don't have this or you're not in this place where it's airing, but just go to our YouTube channel and watch Pastor Greg, because it was a very funny sitcom. It was, by the way, I believe it was the first Christian sitcom, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the first Christian sitcom in the world that aired. We aired for 3 seasons. And in fact, the episode when I got married, when Dawn Wells played my mother, was one of the largest ratings TBN ever had, according to you when you called me and told me that.
Yep.
That's
Well,
really great.
thank you both for being on. We certainly hope. Yes, go ahead. You want us to say something else, Greg?
Yes, our Jennifer and I, our public service announcement. Jennifer mentioned it, and I completely forgot about it. We have a PSA out right now. It's 90 seconds long. Go to our YouTube channel and watch it.
Okay.
And it's for mental health awareness. And the song in it was "The Truth," provided by Megan Woods. Megan Woods, Essential Publishing, and Sony Music gave it to us for free. And we're so grateful to her and to them for donating such an amazing song. And the only thing I can promise you, in that 90 seconds, it will lift up your spirits and you'll feel good.
Fantastic. We could all use the lifting.
And you're in it.
I am, yeah. And you can also, it also airs on a local Buffalo television station, WBBZ Channel 5 in Buffalo, but it's on all of our social media as well.
And a station in Oregon, oh my goodness, I forgot the KDRV just picked it up because we're giving it away for free. We're putting our actions where our mouth is. We're giving this away.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Well, again, thank you both for joining me today on the show.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure.
We'll be right back, folks.
What do we have to gain?
Pretty much everything.
I have loved you every day, every hour, every minute, every second ever since.
We don't always get what we want, but we always get what we need. We're connected, all of us.
What makes Capernaum Studios different from other movie studios? We believe in empowering filmmakers to make stories that matter, inspire, uplift, and transform lives. From historically authentic sets to state-of-the-art, fully equipped sound stages, we offer immersive LED and green screen stages, ICVFX virtual production, period to modern sets, a first-century village featured in The Chosen, and much more. We provide everything filmmakers need to focus on what matters in making their vision a reality, producing meaningful content affordably without compromising creativity. Discovering what's possible when creativity meets purpose. Capernaum Studios, empowering filmmakers to make dreams a reality.
Well, that was a fun interview. And, again, talking about such a serious subject, it was just interesting to find out how he went from comedy to seriousness. But you know what? We came out of a trailer, or I should say a promo for Capernaum Studio.
Yeah.
Holly, you guys just did something special there, didn't you?
We did. We did a patriotic thing, Isaac. Speaking of patriotism, Independence Day experience, and it is bigger and better every year. We have a day where we have reenactments. It's a live experience where you walk with actors and guides through this whole colonial village and thing that we have set up at Capernaum Studios. And we had Paul Revere and Samuel Adams, and we had a small little cabin, slave cabin, where a slave family talks about fighting for freedom, that they want to fight for their freedom and for America's freedom too. There's a church that you go into, and there's a pastor. Many folks don't know it's what was called the Black Robe Regiment. The British referred to them as Black Robe Regiment because they were pastors that wore black robes, and then they would get the people, their congregation, the colonialists in their church to go out and fight with them. And that is truly how the first Revolutionary War was won, was because the colonies had people fighting for their freedom as well. So it's not only informative, but it's fun. People love it. They go through it, and you get to walk through a battle scene and see the British and the colonists fighting with each other, and cannon fire and muskets. By the time they're done, we have a prayer freedom room where they talk about freedom and prayer, and they pray for our nation. I mean, people come out of there, just their lives changed. The kids loved it, adults loved it. It was a great experience. And next year, go on our website, because it's one of those that you need to sign up for, but you'll love it if you come out and visit.
You know what? People just need to start really thinking about attending or just coming to visit the studios whenever they take a vacation from anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world.
That's right.
Come to the Texas area. They really should make the Capernaum Studios one of the places that they need to visit, because even if you don't have that event going on,
That's right.
just being in that atmosphere is so cool.
Isaac, we had people come from Arkansas. They drove 6 hours to come just for our event. People came from all over, North Dallas, South. They came from Waco. I mean, they come from all over, so it was really impressive. And it's patriotic. And of course, this is the beginning, folks, of our year of celebrating 250 years. And 250 years means a lot to those who are patriotic that this country is. We're proud of that, okay? And so there are some movies that we've chosen that kind of had that patriotic experience and feeling as well. Some more than others, but I think it's kind of fun to mention. For July 4th, okay, Isaac, I'll give my top ones, and then you can give your top ones, and I bet some may even be on both lists, but and these aren't some of my favorite, but these are always good. This is for teenagers, adults, and kids, so you can pick which one serves the most for you. But The Patriot was one of my top ones. It's rated R. And it was because if you see the movie version, it's very bloody. If you see the TV version, it cleaned it up. But it's Mel Gibson, and it is the score, the music, the way that they show those battles, and then the final scene where he's waving the American flag and he's setting up and they're fighting for freedom. It's just a moving movie, and it's one of my all-time favorites, and that's The Patriot. And then, of course, we have Top Gun Maverick, which was out a couple years ago and launched a real patriotic movement in this country. Because look, we came out of COVID, and there was kind of a doldrums even about people going to the theater, and that really is what brought people back to the theater for an experience and launched them in. Independence Day was that. Independence Day Afterlap, because I think Isaac, you and I both love this, but yeah, it was from 1996. But what better thing to celebrate the independence than independence from aliens and the conquering? And it just, Bill Pullman, so many good things. Bill Pullman, Will Smith was in that, and Jeff Goldblum, hilarious. That was good. Forrest Gump, another one from 1995, and he goes through, actually, there's an Independence Day scene in there. PG-13, Jaws, okay, PG, but folks, 50 years celebrating that movie still gets people. And it was over the 4th weekend. So in the movie, it's celebrating the 4th. And anyway, that's Jaws. Live Free or Die Hard. If you're a Bruce Willis fan, it's still in there, PG. National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, I should say. And it has the Declaration of Independence. And he deciphers it's in the Independence at the clues. So that was kind of cool. It uses that in the movie. That's a National Treasure. The Sandlot for kids who just need a good baseball movie. Baseball, what's summer without that? Captain America, Chris Evans, of course, speaks for itself. Saving Private Ryan was another one, Tom Hanks and Matt Damon. And a lot of people have seen it's rated R because of language. But again, just stirring the wartime patriot spirit, what we fought for our Americans' independence. Rocky, who can dispute that? And League of Their Own. Baseball, again, PG. So those are just some top ones, kind of a variety of baseball and history and aliens and fun. But The Patriot at my top.
Yep.
What are yours, Isaac?
Well, I mean, I found 34 that are patriotic movies, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to read 34. What are some of the ones that I enjoyed the most? Now, I go way back to 1984, which was Missing in Action. That was such an old movie. And of course, I'm friends with Chuck Norris's son. So that has always had a bit of just an attachment to me. Then I don't know if you remember Red Dawn, where the Cubans, all of a sudden you're in school. All these kids are in schools, love the opening scene. And all of a sudden they start seeing all the soldiers kind of, just parachuting down. It became very scary. I don't know. It was a pretty intense movie. Now, this one matches yours, and that's of course Independence Day. I just love that movie. I love some of the comedy in the movie, especially when Will started eating up on the alien. That was pretty cool. Pearl Harbor, now much more serious movie, but that was one of my favorites.
Yes.
And then probably on the top of my list is American Sniper. And I think the big reason for that is, of course, that my son for 6.5 years was a sniper in the Army. So again, just a much more personal connection to that movie than just the fact that it was a good movie.
I love it too. And true story. True story. And at the very end, they show the real footage of when his body was brought down the highway and all the flags. I cry every time they show that scene. Tears in my eyes. So patriotic, And oh yeah, that's another. Ooh, good movies, Isaac. Good crop movies as well. Yeah. Okay. Another movie, folks. If you want to go to the theater, we can't say enough. F1. It's rated PG-13. Hans Zimmer did the score. It stars Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, in a very different role than some of the roles he's played. And Brad Pitt, I'm telling you, he reminds me of a middle-aged Robert Redford. He is still cool as ever. And this movie, folks, they really did film on racetracks, and Brad Pitt didn't drive, of course, the whole movie. They had stunt drivers, but they did put him in a car and did a real sequence. And they said during the F1 race, they had about an hour where they said, okay, you can get in there and film some major scenes. And so they got in there, and some of the scenes that you see them with the crowd celebrating really was an F1 crowd. And they were able to do their whole little filming, like they had to hurry up and set up and have it set up and film and get it done, because they couldn't take all day. Because film crews, you got to set a lot of things up. But they did some of those shots with that real background, that real crowd, and then he got to actually pull the car out and drive. And so, Isaac, can you say enough about this movie?
It was amazing. Even my wife liked it, and she's not too much into racing, but she really loved the quality, not only technical, but the acting on it was amazing. Now, am I?
And the storyline.
It was beautiful. Now, am I mistaken? Was it an actual former race car driver that directed the film? I heard that, and I don't know if it's
Yes.
true or not. Yes.
Yes. And I mean, and he knew how to do it. And Hans Zimmer, by the way, did the score. Did the music just, it's part of it. He pulled in and he literally Hans studied the driving sequences so that he could get the action with the music. And folks, you learn so much more than just, it's just not a car on a racetrack. They show behind the scenes how technically things were done. They show the technical side of it and things I never even knew about. How he goes in to alter how the mechanics and how they did something so they can go faster with wind adjustment. I found it fascinating. I just, my kids are grown adults. They're all into the racing movies. By the way, folks, for this weekend or any weekends, How to Train Your Dragons out there for kids. Lilo and Stitch is out there. Elio is one that's not really selling a lot, Disney, Pixar, but it's out there. F1, of course, and Mission Impossible. So there's plenty to go see in the theaters and do for adults and kids and teens. And we've just given you some suggestions ourselves.
Now, one thing that I do want to disclose, only because I don't want people to then say, Isaac, Holly, you guys are promoting movies with foul language. F1 did have some foul language.
Yep. PG-13. PG-13.
Yeah. And if you have a problem with that, that's okay. We just want you to know so that you know this is not the movie you should go watch. There are some...
Not an abundance of it.
How's that?
Right. Not an abundance of it, but there's some in here. It's like folks when you see a war movie and you hear to them, if we're not justifying it, we're just saying in context with the world and that world. And it's not even Brad Pitt. It's just some of the other. But yeah, we are definitely. And so we're not promoting R-rated movies. We're saying, here's what it is. You choose your movies wisely and make your own decisions. We're just here to inform you what is and isn't. And if things offend you, fine. If they don't, it's your choice. But anyway, those are some suggestions.
Holly, we've only got about a minute left. How do you want to leave this show today?
So I feel like we've laid down some really patriotic themes here. I feel the spirit, and I love your interview and what he had to say, which kind of is involving movies too. So entertainment, God uses all of it for all of us. And some of the things we've suggested, you'll be amazing. You'll go see that and lives will be changed and people will be inspired. And I think we've given a lot of that have inspiring suggestions. That's what we're here for. And I hope everyone has a great celebration the whole month and beginning this next year. America, yay, 250 years. So excited.
Don't forget, folks, check out our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. And follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or I guess it's X now, at Faith on Film TV. So, Holly, thank you. Another great show. Until next week, we'll see you again.
Blessings. Choose your movies wisely.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.